Welcome to Roofing Road Trips, the podcast that takes you on a thrilling journey across the world of roofing. From fascinating interviews with roofing experts to on-the-road adventures, we'll uncover the stories, innovations, and challenges that shape the rooftops over our heads. So fasten your seatbelts and join us as we embark on this exciting roofing road trip.
Hello and welcome to another Roofing Road Trips from Roofers Coffee Shop. My name is Heidi Ellsworth and we are here today to talk about the future. Yes, the future. Oh my gosh. Things are going so fast when it comes to technology, to visualization, to presentations. It is crazy. And so for contractors out there who are looking to, how do I do my in-home presentations? How do I stay up with all this new technology that's out there and everything that's happening? We brought in the expert, Alan Davis from Ingage, to talk to us about what's going on and what they're doing to help you with your presentations. So, Alan, welcome to the show.
Great. Hey, welcome. Thanks for having me on the show. It's been fantastic. And again, I'm Alan Davis, product manager here at Ingage, where I help roofing pros turn sales calls into interactive stories that homeowners trust.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. You know, Alan, you're a returning favorite to the show. We so appreciate you. You know what? Let's just dive in. Since you introduced yourself, let's kind of talk about where we are. What is the state right now? We'll back up just a tad. When I first started in roofing, it was all about the flip book, right? Do you remember the flip book that we used to have for contractors? I made a number of them for contractors to present to homeowners about what they should do for their roof. Then as we grew, as technology came on, there were websites, and then there was a spectacular creation of Ingage. So why don't you tell everybody just a little bit to kind of set the stage what Ingage does for contractors today for their in-home and virtual sales presentations?
Yeah, so talk a little about the shift in expectations. I think you talk a little about the history here, and I think that's where we have a more sophisticated audience, right? With companies like Apple, and we've got Amazon and Netflix creating these experiences where we've now elevated where our customers and our homeowners are expecting to see the software and the presentations and the content. It's not about just showing some text and talking about this hunk of asphalt shingle I have to show you, right? It's really creating that immersive experience, right? So, the way we present to homeowners has fundamentally shifted, and that's really why Ingage is here today. We've moved from those static brochures, those decks and things like that to really these interactive, intelligent, deeply personalized presentations. And that's where the real win starts coming in with Ingage, being able to create, really enriching content that allows you to really tell that story in a really effective and immersive way. And one of the really emerging things that we're working on is that level of personalization, being able to bring in more content that's relevant to that homeowner. And it can be simple things, Heidi. It's things like just the demographics, right? I use the palm trees and pine trees example sometimes. You want to show a picture of these beautiful homes with palm trees? I live in the Northeast. I got pine trees, right? So you want to connect where people are, right? And that's where the difficulty, these printed brochures, these static things of the past, right? And that's really where the emergence of a tool like Ingage has really changed things dramatically in the industry, especially when we're having these face-to-face conversations, building trust, building rapport. It's really an amazing experience to be able to put really enriching content that connects with a customer into a platform like Ingage and really watch the sales reps do their magic. So what we're really doing here, as I mentioned earlier, we're enabling those sales reps to create those narratives, those stories, to really connect their customers to the services and products that they can provide for them. So that's really what it's all about, is making those connections. And the more visual it is, the more personal it is, the better and tighter those connections will be.
Yeah, it's really that difference between the old days of the flip books or brochures, like you said. But I remember the flip books. You'd flip each page, right? It would tell the story, all manual, all print, all everything. And today, contractors are going in with iPads. They're going in with tablets. They're going in with computers. They're sending them ahead of time. So homeowners can actually have some time to think about it, to look at it, to kind of see where their interest lies. I just think it's a game changer. And really, when we start looking at that next step of homeowners, virtual calls, which we had to do a lot of during COVID, but everybody kind of likes that face to face. But there's a lot more of that going on too. And so you're able to really bring that all together. But you keep saying it, I keep saying it. So let's jump into it. The importance of visualization. And like you said, I live up in Oregon. I don't, I would like to be on the beach, but I don't really want to see a home that's on the beach. I want to see my home. And that is the big change that is going on for the industry and for salespeople out there, being able to show a customer's home and visualization. Talk to us about what you're doing, the big launch.
Yeah. So let's run some numbers first. I really love what you just described about that need to visualize and understand things. So 80% of homeowners can't visualize the change. So think about going in. Like, I work in a virtual world. I work in months and years down the road, thinking in abstractly. That's not a lot of people, right? That's a skill. That's why I do what I do, right? And that's why I'm a professional in this industry. So we need to help people understand how to visualize things. So 20% of our people get it if you tell them. 80% need a picture, right? 50% are unsure how the project's going to turn out. Yeah, I see the picture, but is it really going to be that color? Is it really going to be that trim? Is it really going to be that kind of impact, that curb appeal? Because the last piece, people are making massive investments in what they want to feel good about it. And a lot of what the decision about remodeling the home or adding more, a new roof or remodeling siding, things like that, it's really improved the appearance, and that's a huge decision piece. So having the ability to visualize all this stuff and more importantly, cohesively put it all together into one platform where I can communicate to the customer is really the problem we're solving with this integration between ourselves and a company I love working with, which is Renoworks.
I love it. So you got, Alan, there has been such a change between software companies in the last decade, where before, I would say 10, maybe even 5 years ago, software companies were a lot more about, I'm just going to do my thing and I'm not going to work with anybody else. I'm not going to tell what I'm doing, very closed, to now these amazing integrations that are helping both companies, the software companies, and really helping the end user. So as you're working with Renoworks, kind of talk about that.
Yeah, let's frame the problem for the rep right first. I mean, I use the term application fatigue, right? So now we've got reps out there that got to be in a CRM. You've got to be tracking and managing your customer calls. You're tracking either through process that way. You probably got some quoting software built in there someplace. You've got estimation software, measurement software. You may be flying a drone, maybe capturing video. You might think about all this technology that's in this toolbox that this rep has out there. When they're individual, discrete, solutions, it becomes a real challenge to really actually use them effectively. And where we really look at from the Renoworks integration with Engage is to really simplify the whole process, right? It's really not about just creating our little verticals and living in those and just kind of making them look together. It's really about streamlining that workflow so the rep just goes through that process in a much smoother way. We talked about flipbooks earlier. How about instead of going through all that gymnastics and that kind of muscle memory about where things are to going, let me show you, Heidi, what your home looks like now. Let me show you some recommendations about how we think we can improve your roof. Here's why. And it's all with one click, right? You open up Engage from Renoworks. With Renoworks having the ability to create all those great visuals, now you've created that really immersive story. I've walked up to your front door with a solution, not necessarily talking about a problem that you have that maybe I can't fix, and trying to help you understand what the problem is and then what that solution looks like in the very end. So it's really about streamlining that whole process for both the homeowner and the rep, right? The homeowner is one of the major beneficiaries of this whole process as well. We talk about increasing sales. We talk about rep productivity. It's really the customers buying, right? It's really getting a much better experience. So we engage customers in an effective way. So this integration is all about reducing that friction and elevating that experience, right? So we're not jumping around and creating a lot of things. So what we're really doing, so you think about Renoworks creates those stunning, accurate visuals that the homeowners just love, right? Really accurate things. We wrap those visuals into that narrative. Who we are as a roofer, what we recommend for products and services, and why it really matters, right? So those two things coupled together really create that immersive experience. So the integration is really built around tying the information they have with the story we can tell in the way we tell it, but differently for every customer, and without someone having to go through a lot of effort. And that's really where I've seen as a product manager over the last year or so. We've really tried to streamline the way we create presentations so that they are super simple to dynamically change and modify. So think about templates less than strict presentations or things I'm changing for every customer or everything. So this integration really brings together the content that's important, as I mentioned before, the pine trees and palm trees, so that you and I are having a great conversation about your house, not some stock house. It looks awesome because it's beautifully architected and has all these, my house is a box, so
Well, and Ellen, I think as a homeowner, you really want to think about that because before, even though you could kind of see, and Engage has done such an amazing job with this, having the samples, having, examples of how houses look with the different roofs, seeing the actual shingles, all that. And then, of course, sales reps coming in with actual samples to see it. But that doesn't tell you really how that roof is going to engage. I'm going to say, sorry, a little pun there, with the siding, with the gutters, with the windows, and that's one of the things that I love about this collaboration that you have with Renoworks is you can look at it and say, well, I want this kind of roof, but I have this kind of siding. That might not go so well together. But you really, like you said, 80% can't visualize that. So then you get this new roof and you're like, I don't like it. And maybe you get new siding either way, right? Because I know contractors are using Engage for the full exterior of the home. And so it's just as important on the siding and everything else. Gutters. What color do you want your gutters? It's a deal. And so I love that. I love the versatility of the rep being able to sit there, change the color, change the style of the roof, change the color, the style of the siding, and really so that homeowner gets that big picture of what their home could look like. And it also is a great opportunity for sales reps to upsell, to go to the next thing and say, oh, well, let's talk about siding. Let's talk about windows. Let's talk about gutters.
Yeah, it's right. It really creates that that sales meeting turns into a design consultation and conversation. It's personal, persuasive, and really has that high impact. Right. Here's your soundbite. Right. When a homeowner sees their house with their options, they stop imagining and they start deciding. Right. That's what we want to get off that analysis paralysis. Think, oh, I got to think about this, or they're holding up the swatches to the roof and trying to figure out what it will look like. Okay, let's stop imagining what it could look like. Let me show you what it looks like. And what's really amazing about this, I went through this experience. A quick side story. I stripped my entire house, siding, roofing, everything. They needed the full workout. And unfortunately, full story with my contractor, let him know what I did and how I did it. And I presented to him what I wanted by using Renoworks, showing him the products that they had, what I thought was the right look. And then and it wasn't about trying to tell him and take over the conversation. It was about being an educated customer and coming in and starting the whole thing off at 60 miles an hour instead of starting at 0, right? We had jump started this whole thing. We skipped a half an hour of everything because I had the ability as a homeowner to come in and play with it and imagine. Now I've got a little bit more experience, and that's great. And I was probably maximizing everything about what these tools can do and really building a great relationship with my contractor at the time. But I think every level of interaction really can benefit from these kinds of these tools, and what I kind of call getting the answers to the test on both sides, the homeowner side and the contractor side. Half the time we're spending is just figuring out where we meet. Once we figure out how we meet, then we can really start being productive. And that's what imagining versus deciding, new quote.
It's so true. And Engage really, yes, the design consultation is incredibly important and really is an important, can really help with closing that sale. But it's the whole experience. It's the whole experience of really having the trust in the contractor, telling that story. I mean, the storytelling, and you said this at the very beginning, the storytelling, the professionalism, the trust building of Engage from first who the contractor is all the way through financing and start date, right? But what Engage has done, bringing this powerful visualization tool in, and also some other, I know you guys are actively working on integrations all the time, really makes a big difference for that in-home or virtual experience for the homeowners. And I to your point earlier, really, when you think about the sales reps who are looking for a systematic way to sell that is successful, Engage really delivers that.
Yeah, and it's not, you mentioned it before, there's all these different tools out there. We get asked a lot by our customers to be that single pane of glass. How can we simplify the workflows for the rep, make the interactions with the customers that much easier. But we know we have to have PandaDoc to sign documentation and things. We know we have to have some visualization there, like Renoworks. We know we need to have a company cam integration. We know we have CRMs built. So it's just a lot of stuff that everyone has to manage and things. So again, I want to talk about this integration as a way of how we really kind of visualize and simplify the experience, not just for Renoworks, but a lot of these kind of integrations by Renoworks, by Ingage being kind of that single pane of glass. When we look at how this works, and I mentioned earlier about the ability for Renoworks to put their tools on the contractor's website, so it's a lead gen tool, which is really amazing, right? So now we have the homeowner using Renoworks on the site before they're even had talked to anyone. That's going into the system, right? So that's one way Renoworks can really benefit the whole homeowner experience by just giving the homeowner a chance to play with things. I've seen some of their stuff at home shows around here, which has been fantastic. They've got little contractors are using little iPads. Here, let me show you what houses look like. Just like design consultation, 5-10 minutes at a show. Well, it's very impactful as that lead gen tool. Once you've got a hot lead, this is a hot lead now. We're talking product. We see scope. That information is now stored in Renoworks. That customer is signed on, that account's there. It's linked to that contractor's site. That rep now comes in and sees what that homeowner's done. They can now take that, massage it, work with some of the professional side of Renoworks where they can help do additional designs, bring in products, and really create a bunch of these different designs. So now we've got all this wonderful stuff sitting in Renoworks because I got information from the customer to make quality designs that align with their needs, expectations, and more importantly, have a picture of their house. When I show up on site at that point, I can push a button in Renoworks to say, open up Ingage, and show the presentation that's been built for me, for my company, the way I want to explain who we are, our company story, our products and services with those images. And one of the things we do is put that before picture as the very first page of the presentation. Heidi, here we are. I'm great to talk to you today. Here's a picture of your house as we see it today. Let's talk about who we are, what we do, how we can do it. And 5 pages down into the presentation, right? There's all these different designs. We're looking at colors and things like that. And you might say, that gutter color, what if we made that a slightly different color, white, maybe a little trim? Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Boom, click. Wow. Now I'm deciding, right? And then that's really cool. So the path goes homeowner to rep to Ingage to that consultation in a seamless flow. And that's where the industry is really going. And we're trying to help be a hub of all that because of the position we're in, needing to have all the stuff at the table or during the conversation, integration and moving this data back and forth is really key. So the visual stuff is the first step here, which has just been amazing.
Yeah, I think that to your point, having that sales call be so interactive and really looking at different things instead of just sitting there. Right. I mean, it's like you want to have that interaction. But one of the things that I really love that I've seen too, that you all are doing is that ability for contractors to actually do some pre-appointment work. So from the call center, from your front office, reception, intake, however you're doing this, there's an opportunity to actually grab the picture of the house, right, from many sources, and put that into either a pre-presentation that is emailed to them, some pre-design that is emailed to them, and being able to then look at the analytics on the backside of where that homeowner stopped. Did they stop on the solar page? Oh, maybe we should be talking about solar, right? Talk to us a little bit about that, because I think that is brilliant sales.
Yeah. Prepping a personalized, design before you walk in the door. It's not just impressive. I think it's strategic. It really is a way you need to be thinking about how you run your sales, because this information is really available, especially on the pre-sale side of the lead gen side. Canvassing neighborhoods, looking for opportunities, things like that. Snap a picture of that house, and then to your point, send a nice little message to them. Here's what your houses look like now, and be able to send out. Wonderful opportunity for lead gen. And again, that's where the combination of some of our marketing workflows and Ingage can take our content, make that available to customers. And again, the analytics is where it's key. Now I've got them hooked. I've got an understanding of what they're looking at, what they're interested in, and how long they've been looking at things. And that really gauges interest. So we've seen a lot of success on that kind of pre-sale side of things, being able to really integrate with your CRM, understanding what people are doing, how your marketing campaigns are affecting your close rates. And it really is effective when you're marketing a solution of the house that you're going to be working on with the products that you sell, in the colors and styles that align with the demographic, the area you're in. And it's really an impressive thing to see some of these designs come to life and how the homeowners' eyes light up, as mine did when I saw my house. All these wonderful things. My house was a wreck. I'll admit it. We all have our priorities.
Help
sometimes.
me.
Yeah, and I was so impressed, and it really, like I said, it was a strategic thing on my side to create an impressive experience for my contractors, such that I got a great opportunity and built a great relationship. I had the same motivation as someone across the table saying to me, I want that partnership and integrating at this personal level and being able to have access to the data and information to make it personalized, and with Ingage having its dynamic capabilities now to be able to push it in without having editing presentations is really just a game changer we're seeing in the industry.
Yeah. And I just want to make sure we hit too on there's so many contractors that are full service home improvement for the exteriors. So that's window siding, roofing, gutters. Those pre-presentations that go out to the homeowners should include that. They should include a page for siding, a page for windows, a page for whatever, because then if you see that homeowner is on the window page for 2 minutes, well, guess what? It's not just roofing they're looking for. All of a sudden they're like, ooh, this looks great. And then when you put the Renoworks, that visualization with all the whole outside, that becomes pretty impressive.
The other thing you think about, well, is like, what accessories are they looking at? What levels of product are they looking at? So think about the upsell side of this as well. Think again, making the house beautiful. Boy, your house looks great, Heidi. Got a new roof. We got those gutters on there. That front door looks a little tired right now. You know what? We've got another service over here. Let me show you what a front door would look like if we put that on, right? That's where this becomes really powerful as well. It's not just about solving the problem for the customer. It's exposing other opportunities they have to really improve their house and things. And that's why personalization is really important. If you're not working with that house, you're not working with that customer, you're just working in a generic, vacuum. And I think it's really a key insight that people need to start taking away into the sales process is personalization.
You're building that long-term relationship too. It's not just one roof and done.
Well, think about the referral. I walk next door to my neighbors and I go, look what these guys did. And I should hold a picture up and show it like next to the house and go, wow, that really is what they did. They delivered what they promised. Yeah. And that's amazing. Yeah. You can hear the passion because I really love what I see in the customers' interactions about when they see this stuff.
Yes, I do too. I love it. It's just so much more integration. Let's talk just slightly. I want to talk just a little bit about meeting the customer where they want to be. And so, yes, we all love to sit down at the kitchen table, have that conversation, but we're finding with the speed of life and that we have a lot more consumers who are just like, send it to me on email, send it to me, let's do a Zoom and we'll go through that. How can, to me, this integration and what Ingage is doing and what Renoworks is doing really, really enable that next step of the virtual appointments? Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Well, think about everything we just talked about. What a rep used to have to go through to collect all the information, even to get you something, Heidi, that would be of value for you to look at from a proposal or who we are, what we do. Like, yeah, we don't all have time to have people coming to our home and spending 3 hours, right? It's inspection reports, all these other things. Like now a picture, taken if you're not even home, and I can go through this process of now creating this whole proposal, showing you things, doing all the measurements. I've automated a lot of what I need to do, and I don't need to interact with you anymore as a homeowner to get all the little nitty-gritty details. I can give you now almost a delivered solution that you can now evaluate and look at. Going back to, again, let's stop imagining and start deciding. I can give you a document, I can give you a presentation, I can give you something, a proposal of what we think would be an appropriate thing before we even have a conversation. It's really impactful that way, right? It's really reducing all that scope and being able to get down to really what's really important. What can you do for me? How much is it going to cost? When can you get it done? I mean, those are going to be the 3 answers someone wants to be sent across in one of those presentations. So what does it look like and what can you do for me? That's the Ingage and Renoworks. What does it cost? There's your integration with the financing tools and some of the price kit that's built into Ingage. So we can even price some of these things and quote things and be able to deliver that enriching presentation to them as a starter. Right. And again, now maybe we've started at 120 miles an hour instead of 60 miles an hour because we're starting with a proposal and not even leading up to what a proposal could even contain. Right. So there's a wealth of information out there. but it's the assembling it all and getting it together in an effective, communicative way. And that's where, again, the Ingage platform with all this other information comes in. We don't want to be the purveyor. We want to be the purveyor of information. We're not going to be the store or the system of record for the information, right? We want to be that conduit for communicating and visualizing. And that's where these integrations are really important. Because again, it's not just, it's us bringing a little financing together with some design together with some CRM information together to create that enriching experience.
To put together. I agree. And it's really, Ingage is offering from research, from really engaging that homeowner, that building owner from the very beginning when they're doing research all the way through when they sign the final paper. It's really powerful. So talk to me about training for the contractors. How hard is this? How hard is it to get started? Let's kind of walk them through that.
Yeah. So the first thing is, as I mentioned, our objective is to simplify. So the training gets simpler because now we're not dealing with how do I get access to this? What do I do? How do I, it's not two things. You start training on workflows, you less than training on product. So think about that for a minute. I'm not teaching you how to use Ingage. I'm teaching you how to sell our company, how to talk to a customer. And you're just using these workflows, and these tools are built in and integrated seamlessly. So when I get to the point of visualizing it, there's the visualization tool. It's not about understanding everything about Renoworks. It's about how that tool fits into the workflow and how I'm going to utilize that tool. I think a lot of customers get overwhelmed by learning everything about the tool. Let's figure out what that tool needs to do for you to solve the job that needs to be done. I need to communicate to a customer a picture. I'm not trying to measure right now. I'm not doing anything more detailed than that. We can really simplify these trainings along the way. So the idea here is to create workflows and be able to train on the workflows as opposed to train the products.
Nice. And you have designers, you have from if people already have their stuff to upload it to if they really need someone to help them design that sales presentation, understanding the flow. You offer all of that for contractors to be able to put this together.
We do. And that you bring up a really interesting point from our partnership strategy, which is we want to partner at every step of the way. I'd love to have a customer come on board that goes, you know what? We don't really have a great sales methodology. I've been thinking about, you know what? Hey, we've got a bunch of partners out there. Let me introduce you to X, Y, Z, and let me get you set up. So it's not just partnering at the Renoworks level, technology levels, right? It's partnering at the services level. How can we bring people into our hubs and spokes and be able to draw, different services, different experiences? So it's a lot along those lines as well, of being able to help folks with not just the design services we have, but what other services we're connected to, and really create that experience. Again, we don't want to be the sales trainer, but the sales training, the sales methodologies come alive and engage because it's a methodology that's now put into a platform that can implement and help that rep navigate that methodology seamlessly, fluidity with everything they need to have that connection with the customer.
And I have to tell you, you guys are connected to some of the best manufacturers out there who also are offering all of this and incorporating their products. I mean, you have everybody's products in Ingage. So it makes it easy for a contractor to get started, to get the resources they need. It's really exciting. And you guys just keep making it better and better.
Getting better. Yeah. I had a note here about manufacturers as well. We talk about the contractor, we talk about the homeowner, we talk about this. The manufacturers have a huge benefit here as well, right? Because think about now where we've got the sales, and the sales deck around that manufacturer, these roofing shingles, the style, these colors, all those wonderful things we can do for those manufacturers. Renoworks is doing the same thing, but putting the actual products on the house. And now we talk about the value of a manufacturer's product. Now we see it on the house. So it's really nice synergy between the manufacturing content being on both platforms, being available to tell that seamless story, depending upon which manufacturer and what type of products you're working with. That's really, I think, a lot of power as well. We're touching everyone that has a hand in the solution, not just a specific vertical, not just helping a rep. We're really trying to help everyone along the line. I think that's where Ingage is special because we touch every part of the sales cycle, especially the customer.
Yeah, that's amazing. Alan, I'm so excited. Congratulations. What a big step for contractors, for all of you, for the industry overall. Thank you so much for sharing this information and for helping the industry continue to rise in professionalism and really telling our story.
Yeah, it's really been an enjoyable experience over the last 3 years here working with Ingage in the home improvement industry. I've really loved working with the teams, both the contractors, the manufacturers, and the software developers. There is a collaboration here Even though we're fierce competitors sometimes, I'll take a book out of my sports world. We are warriors on the field and friends off the field, right? When we need to compete, we'll compete, but when we need to collaborate, we'll collaborate, and that's what I've really loved about this. And you're really a conduit to help that Roofers Coffee Shop and some of the other folks out there really promoting and connecting us and helping deliver the message.
Thank you. We love it. We love it. Let's keep telling the stories. It's so worth telling. It's so great. It's such a celebration. So, again, congratulations on this amazing new launch. And for everyone out there, if you want to get more information on this, of course, it's on Roofers Coffee Shop. You can go to the Ingage directory. You can probably also go to the Renoworks directory and find all this information about how you can get involved with Ingage and start visualizing with your customers. So, Alan, thank you again. And thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for being a part of this. This is the kind of information that can really make a big change. And even though we're in August right now, I can't believe it. 2026 is around the corner, and this is the kind of technology you need for your business. So please check the Ingage directory and put it on your list to get going and using that with your sales team. Also check out all of our podcasts and all of our roofing road trips under the RLW navigation. Be sure to subscribe and set those notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We'll be seeing you next time on Roofing Road Trips.
If you've enjoyed the ride, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us on every roofing adventure. Make sure to visit RoofersCoffeeShop.com to learn more. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next roofing road trip.